I'm super excited to do this type of a video, and it's going to be somewhat of an intro to what's coming. I am planning a major swatch out of all of my watercolors, and what you can see here is basically a drawer that I pulled out from my desk. I usually sit here with my chair, and so this is how I keep my tube watercolors and refer to them when I need by color groups. So as you can see, I've got some mixes here of yellows and oranges. The pinks are up here, then it's the greens, turquoises, blues, purples. I'm not a huge fan of a traditional purple, so whatever purples I do have, they tend to be either the earthier colors or colors that I do enjoy using. Then we have some reds, and then like darker reds, maroon reds, and that type of a thing as well. And up here we have some neutrals, a bit of a crossover between so this yellow, some of the yellow ochres are in this tray, but also you can see there is a raw sienna and a couple of other colors that could potentially be merged together across the two groups. And then of course the browns and more browns up here, simply because that's all I have. I just have some vegan brownie boxes here that I used. Maybe there should be like a better way of me organizing things. I could, you know, just maybe order some more of these plastic acrylic boxes and see if they would sort of fit in better in here rather than having them in smaller boxes, something like that, because they keep popping up and out of the compartments. I mean, it's working, but I do find that on occasion a tube gets stuck somewhere. But yeah, so this is how it is, and these are just the tube paints. I also have plenty of palettes, which I will share with you in a minute. But the idea here is that I will be swatching out by color group. So I will be sharing all of my yellows, and then we'll move on to all the other groups. And I will be working with these sort of lovely little swatch cards to create a database of all of my colors, because I realized once you get to a certain amount of watercolors as an artist, you just, you know, start to use the same colors again and again because it's easier to get to them. And a few other colors you just sort of start forgetting about because you haven't used them in a while. And so I want to avoid that. I really want to use colors across the entire collection that I have, and that is what will help me. Also, having all the info that I need in one little card. So like here, not only seeing the color in its darkest value, in its lightest value, the movement of the color, how it creates a lovely blossom. You can see some of them do it more than others. And then obviously the brand, the name, the pigment will be also here, and the lightfastness as well. I'm also doing a little strip here, which is to show the transparency of the color. And that's pretty much everything I need to know. So I've done these. If you haven't seen me creating these swatch cards, I'll try to link it up for you somewhere here. It was really fun to create them, and I think you might find it quite inspiring to go through your art supplies, your paints, and just keep everything super organized. It brings new energy and it brings that kind of freshness into your creative environment. Also, I have prepared a little basket here of just my Jackson's watercolors, which I for some reason keep separately. I like the look of them, so I tend to keep them somewhere where I can actually see them. So that's another little basket here. Before we have a look at before I remind you of my palettes, I guess we should just have a quick look at things that might be interesting to you. So Depending in which country you are, you might find some of these brands easier available. When I say easier, they're probably available everywhere, but then the price gets changed depending on the import. So if obviously the country that's producing those watercolors is near you or where you live, then that's going to cost you less than if the country is quite far away. So for instance, for me, Daniel Smith would cost more than Schmincke, or let alone Jackson's or Sennelier. So Sennelier being French, Schmincke being German, there are fairly close to UK, and obviously Jackson's is a UK brand. So, and of course Daniel Smith is US brand. So that means things like M.Graham, Core, and Daniel Smith are quite pricey for me. Apart from those brands that I already mentioned, I also have some White Knights, which is a Russian brand. And then I have Mission Gold, which I think is Japanese, or it might be Korean. Mijello, Mission Gold. Korea, that's it, made in Korea. So they are Korean. Then I have Luca, and I also, where is Luca from? Germany. I also have this one here, Rembrandt, quite a few of those, and I think they are also, no, they're from Netherlands. So they're from Netherlands. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, of course, I've got Winsor & Newton as well. So that's brand-wise what you will be seeing here. And once I am done with swatching all of them, which will take a little while, but I hope it's going to be a fun series and certainly very useful for me as well. Once I'm done with that, I'm planning to do favorites video, so I'll show you what my favorite colors are, and I think either I will do it by brand, showing colors favorite to the brand, or it might be color groups. Haven't decided yet, but stay tuned, and I think it will be a fun little series to watch. So let's move on to the palettes. I'll quickly show you the palettes that I will be also swatching out. Also, the Roman Szmal Aquarius, for instance, they don't do tube paints, and so I have been collecting their paints over the years, and I have a nice little collection here now. And yeah, so those are the swatches that you saw here. And this was the beginning of this sort of swatching fun, and I have now organized them into sort of colors, as you can see, color arrangement, and yeah, so that was a fun thing to do. So this one I just wanted to show you, but obviously I'm not going to be swatching it because I already did so. And then what I have is the 5-color Quinacridone Quintet. So it's got the nickel Quinacridone and all the Quinacridone reds in there as well. So we've got nickel Quinacridone Gold, Quinacridone Red, Quinacridone Rose, Quinacridone Rust, Quinacridone Violet. So that's a really lovely set of paints. Then I have Sennelier. This is, I think this was the Billy Showell, the botanical watercolor set, and I found out that these particular colors, most of them that were chosen, I didn't enjoy using back when I bought it. Even though obviously you can create some lovely mixes, all the greens and the pinks and whatever you need for botanical painting, but somehow I just didn't enjoy it as much. But I have realized since that I bought some other colors by Sennelier, and as the paint formulation, I do enjoy them. I just need to find the colors that I really love. And not to say that any of these colors are not lovely. Then I have Mission Gold, and this was the large set. I don't quite remember what it was called now. I'll try to put it up here somewhere in the title for you. But basically gorgeous paint, super vibrant, and I definitely want to have swatch cards of these paints as well, because I quite like their neutrals. Their neutrals are super beautiful, very vibrant, as obviously all the other colors. But for example, when it comes to White Nights, their neutrals I find to be slightly weaker. Again, it's probably preference of the artist, but I love White Nights paints. I find them quite comparable to the Roman Schmal in terms of vibrancy, but their neutrals are not that great, so I actually put them in a separate small palette, and they're just not as strong as Roman Schmal or Mijello, for instance. And so yeah, they could be great for things where not too much vibrancy is required in neutrals, but again, I'm just talking about my personal preference. And in case you're curious why this palette is looking like that, this is actually the old, I believe the original or the first plastic palette that they came out with, so it's super old, and I didn't want to throw it away because it's very sentimental, and yeah, it's got sentimental value to it. And I just clipped away the plastic inserts that it had and just stuffed all the full pens in there, and you can see they're not very straight, but I really don't mind. I just love this palette, and it's sort of the palette that got me back into watercolors years and years ago. So love this. And finally, I've got some Schmincke here, and this was my first loaded purchase because, as you can imagine, it's quite pricey. So I bought this as a 36 half pans plus 12 empty, so it had the 3 rows filled and the last one empty. So what I've done is I've taken everything out, and over the years I've been buying extra colors, and then I put them back in, but in a new order. I really like Schmincke. Colors are fantastic. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, when I was comparing the White Nights and the Roman Schmal watercolors, I'll just pull them out quickly again. What I find different amongst the two brands is that Roman Schmal has a lot of fun colors, similar to Daniel Smith. So what Daniel Smith does is they have, you know, created some mixes that are quite unique and different, and so this is what Roman Schmalz also has done, and I think a lot of brands are also catching up with it, including Schmincke has done loads and loads of new collections and sets with super granulating colors that do some magic, watercolor magic, into separating the pigments and all of that fun stuff. But I'd say that Daniel Smith is a pioneer in that department, and I think, yeah, it'll be good for you to see what are my favorite colors amongst those different brands and which colors I would highly recommend to add to your stash. So I hope this has been insightful, and I hope you have a better idea of what's coming, and I hope you are just as excited as I am, because I am incredibly excited. I had this project in mind for a couple of years now, but it was just like a headache to even think of where to start. But I feel quite organized now. I feel I'm there now. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. And I will see you next time. See you soon.